Introduction. Hello friends. If you're excited to watch the much-awaited and super thrilling movie Conclave, 2024, in English, then don't forget to hit that like button right away. And if you're visiting our channel for the first time, welcome. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss any of our latest movie updates. Now friends, in today's video, we're going to dive deep into the mysterious and suspenseful world of Conclave, 2024. We'll talk about what this movie is all about, where and how you can watch it, and all the fascinating behind-the-scenes facts that make this film a must-watch. In this video, I'll tell you what makes Conclave such a unique cinematic experience. Television where it's available to stream, the OTT platform or satellite channel where you can watch it. Movie camera info on the technical crew. Musical score deep dive into the music department. How the movie was made from pre-production to filming, all the way to post-production. Moneybag, what was the budget, and how it performed at the box office. Open book, a brief storyline breakdown. Glowing star, the complete star cast, character roles, and how each actor performed. Comedy and tragedy masks, and of course, my mini review of the story and performances. Cast and performances. The film boasts a stellar cast. Ralph Fiennes as Cardinal Thomas Lawrence, the Dean of the College of Cardinals. Stanley Tucci as Cardinal Bellini, a progressive American contender. John Lithgow as Cardinal Tremblay, a conservative Canadian candidate. Sergio Castellitto as Cardinal Tedesco, a traditionalist Italian cardinal. Isabella Rossellini as Sister Agnes, the observant housekeeper of Casa Santa Marta. Each actor delivers a compelling performance, bringing depth and nuance to their complex characters. On top of that, I'll be sharing some super interesting facts about this film that every movie lover should know. So, my friends, I highly recommend you watch this video till the very end. You won't want to miss a single detail. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and let's unravel the secrets of Conclave, 2024. Let's begin. Clapperboard. Plot and narrative, let's dive in. Alright friends, buckle up because Conclave, 2024, takes us on a roller coaster ride into one of the most secretive places on earth, the Vatican. But hold up, this isn't your typical Sunday church story. This is suspense, politics, religion, and mystery all tangled together in one deliciously intense thriller. The movie kicks off right after the death of the Pope, the big man himself. And that's when things start getting juicy. The Vatican is thrown into lockdown, and the College of Cardinals from around the globe rush into the Sistine Chapel for one purpose: to elect the next Pope. Sounds simple, right? Not even close. Here's where the tension starts crawling under your skin. The doors close, and boom, we're locked in with 118 powerful cardinals, all whispering, scheming, and maybe even hiding deadly secrets. The story unfolds through the eyes of Cardinal Lawrence, our main man, who's not just a religious figure. Oh no, he's also dealing with inner guilt, past scandals, and a quiet suspicion that something's not right inside this holy chamber. And here's the twist: while they're supposed to be praying for divine inspiration to choose the next pope, strange things start happening. We're talking hidden messages, shocking confessions, and political chess games that would make even House of Cards look like kindergarten. Comedy and tragedy masks. Perspective-wise, the film plays with your mind. We stay mostly with Cardinal Lawrence, but the way it shifts between whispered conversations, flashbacks of past sins, and coded letters passed under candlelight? Absolutely genius. It doesn't go full Tarantino nonlinear, but it sprinkles in enough nonlinear memory flashes to make you question everyone's motives. Just when you think the frontrunner for Pope is about to win the votes, bam! A scandal from the past resurfaces, and suddenly the power dynamics flip like a game of Uno. Plot twists are dropped like mic bombs, one after another, and not the predictable kind either. The mysterious arrival. Amidst the turmoil, a surprise entrant arrives: Archbishop Vincent Benitez of Kabul. Previously appointed in Pectory, secretly, by the late Pope, his sudden inclusion raises eyebrows. Benitez's presence introduces new dynamics, challenging the existing power structures within the conclave. Let me just say there's a moment in the middle of the film, no spoilers, where one cardinal stands up during a vote and delivers a speech that changes everything. You can feel the air being sucked out of the room. That's one of the major turning points. After that, alliances shift, hidden loyalties are revealed, and the story gets darker, almost like a thriller hiding inside a spiritual robe. Books thematically, this movie is rich. It's not just about religion, it's about truth vs tradition, guilt vs redemption, and how power corrupts, even in the most sacred of places. You'll find yourself asking, what does it really mean to be a good person? Is faith about image, or integrity? Who decides who's worthy of leading millions? And let me tell you the climax. Oh boy! You won't see it coming. It's not a typical crown the Pope, roll credits situation. Nope. It's poetic, shocking, and emotionally devastating in the best way. The way the narrative weaves morality, suspense, and internal conflict is just okay, hand-signed chef's kiss. Character development in Conclave, 2024. In Conclave, the 2024 political thriller directed by Edward Berger, character development is at the heart of the narrative, offering a profound exploration of ambition, faith, and transformation within the secretive process of electing a new pope. Cardinal Thomas Lawrence, Ralph Fiennes. Cardinal Thomas Lawrence, portrayed by Ralph Fiennes, serves as the Dean of the College of Cardinals. Fiennes delivers a performance marked by restraint and internal conflict, capturing Lawrence's deep sense of duty and moral quandaries. As the conclave unfolds, Lawrence grapples with the weight of leadership and the complexities of guiding the Church through turbulent times. His journey reflects a man torn between tradition and the need for reform, embodying the film's central themes of introspection and responsibility. India Today. Glowing star Cardinal Vincent Benitez, Carlos Diaz. Cardinal Vincent Benitez emerges as a pivotal figure in the conclave. Initially an obscure candidate, Benitez's election as Pope marks a significant shift in the Church's direction. His revelation of being intersex challenges long-standing traditions and symbolizes a move towards inclusivity and acceptance. Benitez's character embodies the film's exploration of identity and the courage to embrace one's true self in the face of institutional rigidity. EW.com. Comedy and tragedy masks Cardinal Aldo Bellini, Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci's portrayal of Cardinal Aldo Bellini presents a reform-minded American cardinal navigating the intricate politics of the Vatican. Bellini's character is marked by charm and strategic acumen, reflecting the complexities of advocating for change within a deeply traditional institution. His interactions with other cardinals highlight the delicate balance between personal conviction and political pragmatism. Cardinal Joseph Tremblay, John Lithgow. Cardinal Joseph Tremblay, played by John Lithgow, represents the conservative faction within the conclave. His character is characterized by political astuteness and a commitment to preserving traditional values. Tremblay's actions, including alleged vote buying, underscore the film's examination of power dynamics and the ethical challenges inherent in leadership roles. Fire Cardinal Goffredo Tedesco, Sergio Castellitto. Sergio Castellitto's Cardinal Goffredo Tedesco embodies the hardline traditionalist perspective. His character is portrayed with intensity, advocating for a return to pre-Vatican II practices. Tedesco's presence in the film serves as a counterpoint to the progressive voices, highlighting the ideological divides within the Church. Sister Agnes, Isabella Rossellini. Isabella Rossellini's Sister Agnes provides a unique perspective within the male-dominated conclave. As the observant housekeeper of Casa Santa Marta, her character offers insights into the proceedings and the personal struggles of the cardinals. Rossellini's performance adds depth to the narrative, emphasizing the often overlooked roles of women within the Church's hierarchy. Conclave presents a rich tapestry of characters, each navigating their own moral and ideological journeys. The film delves into the personal transformations and internal conflicts of its characters, offering a nuanced portrayal of the complexities inherent in leadership and faith. Diving into the stellar performances of Conclave, 2024. In Conclave, the ensemble cast delivers performances that breathe life into the intricate world of Vatican politics, each actor embodying their role with depth and nuance. Top hat Ralph Fiennes as Cardinal Thomas Lawrence. Ralph Fiennes portrays Cardinal Thomas Lawrence, the Dean of the College of Cardinals, with the subtlety that captures the character's internal struggles and moral dilemmas. Critics have lauded Fiennes' performance as phenomenal and among the finest pieces of acting in recent years. Comedy and tragedy masks Stanley Tucci as Cardinal Aldo Bellini. Stanley Tucci brings charm and cunning to the role of Cardinal Aldo Bellini, a reform-minded American cardinal. His portrayal adds a layer of complexity to the film's depiction of Vatican intrigue. Comedy and tragedy masks John Lithgow as Cardinal Joseph Tremblay. John Lithgow delivers a compelling performance as Cardinal Joseph Tremblay, a seasoned church leader navigating the complex political landscape. His portrayal adds depth to the film's exploration of power dynamics within the conclave. Isabella Rossellini as Sister Agnes. Isabella Rossellini's portrayal of Sister Agnes, the observant housekeeper of Casa Santa Marta, is both graceful and assertive. Her performance contributes significantly to the film's tension and drama. Each actor in Conclave brings a unique energy to their role, collectively enhancing the film's emotional depth and believability. Their performances intertwine seamlessly, creating a rich tapestry that captures the complexities of faith, ambition, and tradition within the Vatican. Edward Berger's masterful direction in Conclave, 2024. In Conclave, director Edward Berger transforms the secretive process of electing a new pope into a riveting cinematic experience. Drawing inspiration from classic thrillers, Berger crafts a film that is both visually stunning and emotionally resonant. Movie camera visual storytelling and cinematography. Berger eschews traditional shot-reverse shot techniques, opting instead for deliberate camera movements and compositions that heighten tension. This approach, reminiscent of directors like Alan J. Pakula, allows the audience to feel the weight of each moment. Yahoo! Creative screenwriting. The film's cinematography employs chiaroscuro lighting and rich textures to evoke the solemnity and grandeur of the Vatican. Each frame is meticulously composed, enhancing the narrative's emotional depth. Pacing and narrative structure. Berger maintains a deliberate pacing that mirrors the contemplative nature of the conclave. The film unfolds with a measured rhythm, allowing character dynamics and political intrigues to simmer and intensify. High on films. Comedy and tragedy masks performance-driven direction. Berger's direction elicits powerful performances from the ensemble cast. Ralph Fiennes delivers a nuanced portrayal of Cardinal Lawrence, capturing the character's internal conflicts and moral dilemmas. The supporting cast, including Stanley Tucci and John Lithgow, bring depth to their roles, enriching the film's exploration of faith and power. VanityFair.com. Thematic depth and contemporary relevance. Conclave delves into themes of tradition versus progress, secrecy, and institutional reform. Berger's direction ensures these themes resonate with contemporary audiences, prompting reflection on the complexities of leadership and belief systems. Through meticulous craftsmanship and a keen eye for detail, Edward Berger's direction in Conclave elevates the film into a compelling exploration of faith, power, and human complexity. Cinematography in Conclave, 2024. A visual masterpiece. In Conclave, cinematographer Stéphane Fontaine crafts a visual narrative that is as compelling as the story itself. The film's cinematography is a masterclass in the art of visual storytelling, using lighting, framing, and camera angles to enhance the narrative's emotional depth and thematic complexity. Artist palette lighting, symbolism and mood. Fontaine employs chiaroscuro lighting to create a contrast between light and shadow, symbolizing the moral and ideological divides among the cardinals. This interplay of light and dark not only adds to the film's aesthetic appeal but also underscores the internal conflicts and secrets harbored by the characters. The use of lighting is deliberate and strategic, guiding the audience's emotional responses and highlighting the film's central themes of power, faith, and secrecy. Clapperboard camera angles and framing, intimacy and tension. The film's framing is meticulously crafted, often using symmetrical compositions to reflect the rigid structure of the conclave. Overhead shots in close-ups are employed to convey the isolation and introspection of the characters, drawing the audience into their personal struggles and dilemmas. These visual techniques enhance the film's tension, making the confined setting of the Sistine Chapel feel both claustrophobic and charged with suspense. Glowing star-striking visual moments. One of the film's most visually striking moments is the umbrella shot, where a high-angle view of cardinals exiting the Sistine Chapel, each holding an umbrella, creates a powerful visual metaphor for the secrecy and formality of the conclave process. This image encapsulates the film's exploration of tradition, authority, and the weight of decision-making within the Church. The wrap. Atmosphere and immersion. The cinematography in Conclave is instrumental in immersing the audience in the Vatican's sacred and secretive world. The use of rich textures, detailed set designs, and careful lighting choices creates an atmosphere that is both reverential and tense. This visual approach not only enhances the storytelling but also deepens the audience's engagement with the film's themes and characters. Through his meticulous attention to visual detail, Stéphane Fontaine's cinematography in Conclave elevates the film into a compelling exploration of power, faith, and secrecy, making it a standout in the cinematic landscape. Editing and pacing in Conclave, 2024. A tightly woven tapestry. In Conclave, the editing serves as the silent architect of suspense, crafting a rhythm that mirrors the clandestine machinations within the Vatican's walls. Oscar-nominated editor Nick Emerson's meticulous work ensures that every scene transitions seamlessly, maintaining a taut narrative flow that keeps audiences on the edge of their seats. Deliberate pacing, building suspense. The film adopts a deliberate pacing, allowing tension to simmer beneath the surface. Rather than relying on overt action, the narrative unfolds through subtle interactions and whispered conversations, drawing viewers into the labyrinthine politics of the conclave. This measured approach enhances the suspense, as each decision and revelation carries weight. Seamless transitions, maintaining engagement. Emerson's editing ensures that transitions between scenes are smooth, preserving the film's immersive atmosphere. By trimming excess connective tissue and concluding scenes just before they overstay their welcome, the pacing remains brisk without sacrificing depth. This technique keeps the audience engaged, eager to uncover the next layer of intrigue. Comedy and tragedy masks emotional resonance, enhancing character arcs. The editing also plays a crucial role in highlighting character development. By focusing on subtle expressions and moments of introspection, the film allows characters' internal struggles to surface, adding emotional depth to the political drama. This approach ensures that the audience remains emotionally invested in the characters' journeys. Warning sign pacing considerations, a test for some viewers. While the deliberate pacing contributes to the film's atmospheric tension, it may challenge viewers accustomed to faster-paced thrillers. Certain plot threads, such as the external terrorist threat, might feel tangential to the central drama within the conclave, potentially disrupting the narrative's flow for some. Serenades of a Dreamer. In Conclave, the editing and pacing are not mere technical aspects but integral components that shape the film's narrative and emotional impact. Through careful construction and strategic rhythm, the film transforms a seemingly mundane process into a gripping tale of power, faith, and secrecy. Soundtrack and score. The sonic architecture of Conclave, 2024. In Conclave, the score isn't just an accompaniment, it's a character in its own right. Crafted by Academy Award-winning composer Volker Bertelmann, the music weaves through the film like a silent observer, amplifying the tension, secrecy, and grandeur of the Vatican's hallowed halls. Reddit. Violin, the sound of suspense. Bertelmann's approach to the score was to blend the sacred with the unsettling. He incorporated unconventional instruments like the crystal basket, a glass-based instrument played with wet hands to evoke an otherworldly atmosphere. This choice mirrors the film's exploration of tradition clashing with modernity. The score's use of polyrhythms and agitated strings creates a sense of underlying tension, much like the political maneuvering within the conclave. Far Out magazine. Musical score motifs and themes. Rather than assigning themes to individual characters, Bertelsmann focused on musical motifs that represent specific situations or emotional states. This approach allows the score to evolve with the narrative, reflecting the shifting alliances and moral dilemmas faced by the cardinals. The recurring motifs subtly guide the audience's emotional journey, enhancing the film's dramatic impact. Headphone silence as a tool. In a film brimming with intrigue, silence becomes a powerful tool. Bertelsmann strategically uses moments of quiet to heighten the impact of the music when it does appear. These silences allow the audience to absorb the gravity of the decisions being made, making the subsequent musical cues more poignant and effective. Multiple musical notes seamless integration. The score in Conclave doesn't overwhelm the narrative, instead, it complements and enhances it. Bertelsmann's compositions are intricately woven into the fabric of the film, ensuring that the music serves the story without drawing undue attention to itself. This seamless integration allows the audience to become fully immersed in the film's world, where every note resonates with the weight of the decisions being made. In Conclave, Volker Bertelsmann's score is more than just background music, it's an integral part of the storytelling, enriching the film's atmosphere and emotional depth. Through innovative instrumentation, thematic motifs, and strategic use of silence, the score elevates the narrative, making it an unforgettable auditory experience. Themes and messages in Conclave, 2024. A cinematic discourse. Conclave delves into the intricate interplay between tradition and progress within the Catholic Church, offering a narrative rich with political intrigue, moral dilemmas, and societal reflections. Tradition versus progress. The film juxtaposes the Church's long-standing traditions with the pressing need for modernization. Through characters like Cardinal Bellini, who advocates for reform, and the unexpected election of Cardinal Benitez, the narrative explores the tension between preserving sacred rituals and embracing inclusivity. Benitez's election, culminating in the revelation of his intersex identity, symbolizes a potential shift towards a more progressive church. Doubt and humility. Cardinal Lawrence's internal conflict underscores the theme of doubt as a virtue. His journey suggests that true faith may reside in questioning and humility, rather than in unwavering certainty. This perspective challenges the Church's historical emphasis on absolute doctrine, proposing that openness to uncertainty can lead to spiritual growth. Power and corruption. The film portrays the conclave as a microcosm of political maneuvering, where ambition and power dynamics often overshadow spiritual considerations. Characters like Cardinals Tremblay and Tedesco engage in questionable tactics to secure votes, highlighting the potential for corruption within institutional structures. In contrast, Benitez's rise to the papacy, despite his lack of political ambition, suggests that genuine leadership may emerge from humility and service. Inclusivity and identity. Benitez's intersex identity introduces a discourse on gender and identity within religious institutions. His election challenges traditional notions of leadership and representation, prompting reflections on the Church's stance towards diversity and inclusion. The narrative invites audiences to consider the evolving roles of gender and identity in spiritual and institutional contexts. Through its intricate storytelling and complex characters, Conclave offers a multifaceted exploration of the Catholic Church's internal dynamics and its engagement with contemporary societal issues. The film's thematic depth provides ample material for reflection on the evolving nature of faith, leadership, and institutional reform. Visual effects and CGI in Conclave, 2024. Crafting the sacred and the suspenseful. In Conclave, visual effects, VFX, aren't just a backdrop, they're an integral part of the storytelling, enhancing the film's atmosphere and immersing viewers in the high-stakes drama of papal succession. Artist palette authenticity through VFX. The filmmakers prioritized authenticity in depicting the Vatican's grandeur. While the film wasn't shot on location, meticulous attention to detail was paid in recreating iconic spaces like the Sistine Chapel and the Casa Santa Marta. These sets were constructed at Cinecittà Studios in Rome, blending practical design with digital enhancements to achieve a realistic portrayal of the Vatican's interiors. Enhancing atmosphere, not distracting. The VFX in Conclave are subtle yet effective. They serve to enhance the film's mood, imbuing scenes with a sense of reverence, tension, or secrecy without overshadowing the narrative. For instance, digital effects are used to recreate the iconic black and white smoke signaling the election's outcome, adding a layer of authenticity to the ritual. Blending practical and digital effects. The film strikes a balance between practical effects and CGI. While digital effects are employed to recreate the Vatican's interiors and certain atmospheric elements, practical effects such as the use of wax seals and the depiction of cardinal robes ground the film in reality. This combination ensures that the visual effects support the story without drawing attention to themselves. Visual storytelling through design. The production design, supported by VFX, plays a crucial role in storytelling. The use of color, lighting, and set design conveys the tension between tradition and progress within the church. For example, the strategic use of red symbolizing both the cardinal's robes and the wax seals adds a layer of visual symbolism to the narrative. In Conclave, visual effects are not just technical feats, they are storytelling tools that enhance the film's thematic depth and immersive experience. By blending practical and digital effects seamlessly, the filmmakers create a visually compelling narrative that invites viewers into the secretive world of papal politics. Set design and locations in Conclave, 2024, crafting the sacred and the secretive. In Conclave, the world of the Vatican is meticulously constructed, not just as a backdrop, but as a living, breathing entity that pulses with power, secrecy, and history. Production designer Susie Davies and her team embarked on an ambitious journey to recreate the Vatican's most iconic spaces, all within the confines of Rome's renowned Cinecittà studios. Given the Vatican's strict filming restrictions, the filmmakers turned to these hallowed grounds of cinema, known for their role in epics like Ben-Hur and The Godfather, to bring the sacred halls to life. Recreating the Vatican's sacred spaces. The Sistine Chapel, a central locale in the film, was reconstructed with painstaking detail. Davies and her team found an old set of the chapel in storage and, over a span of 10 weeks, restored and enhanced it to meet the film's needs. This set became the stage for intense deliberations and dramatic confrontations among the cardinals. Equally crucial was the recreation of Casa Santa Marta, the residence where the cardinals are sequestered during the conclave. Davies and her team crafted this environment to evoke a sense of isolation and tension, mirroring the real-life seclusion experienced by the cardinals during the election process. Utilizing real Roman landmarks. While many interiors were constructed in the studio, the filmmakers also incorporated real Roman locations to add authenticity. The Royal Palace of Caserta, with its grand architecture, served as a stand-in for various Vatican locations, providing a sense of scale and opulence. Additionally, the Museum of Roman Civilization was used to depict the corridors and chambers of the Vatican, further grounding the film in its Roman setting. Designing with purpose. Every design choice in Conclave serves a narrative purpose. The use of red, the cardinal's robes, the wax seals, the carpets creates a visual motif that underscores the themes of power, secrecy, and ritual. The architecture, with its imposing columns and grand staircases, reflects the weight of tradition and the solemnity of the election process. Even the lighting is meticulously planned to cast long shadows and create a sense of foreboding, enhancing the film's atmosphere of suspense and intrigue. In Conclave, the set design and locations do more than house the story, they actively participate in it. Through careful reconstruction and thoughtful design, the filmmakers have crafted a world that feels both authentic and cinematic, drawing viewers into the secretive and sacred world of the papal election. Dialogue and script in Conclave, 2024, a symphony of sacred secrets and subtle power plays. In the hallowed halls of the Vatican, where centuries of tradition echo through marble corridors, the script of Conclave emerges as a masterful composition, a blend of theological discourse, political maneuvering, and human drama. Penned by Peter Strahan, the screenplay adapts Robert Harris's novel into a taut narrative that pulses with intrigue and moral complexity. The weight of faith and doubt. At the heart of the dialogue lies a profound exploration of faith's dual nature, its capacity to uplift and its potential to divide. Cardinal Lawrence, portrayed with gravitas by Ralph Fiennes, delivers lines that resonate with the tension between certainty and uncertainty. One such line, "Our faith is a living thing precisely because it walks hand in hand with doubt," encapsulates the film's thematic core: faith as a dynamic force, ever-evolving and deeply human. The dance of power and morality. The script deftly navigates the murky waters of ambition and ethics. Cardinal Tremblay's assertion, "The throne of the Holy See is vacant," serves as a chilling reminder of the power vacuum at the film's outset. This declaration sets the stage for a high-stakes game of influence, where each word spoken is a calculated move in a larger strategy. Comedy and tragedy masks character-defining moments. Each cardinal's dialogue is meticulously crafted to reveal layers of personality and hidden agendas. In a pivotal scene, Sister Agnes, portrayed by Isabella Rossellini, delivers a line that underscores her formidable presence: "What happens behind these walls will change everything." This statement not only foreshadows the film's dramatic twists but also highlights the clandestine nature of the conclave, where decisions made in secrecy have far-reaching consequences. Wit amidst the sacred. Amidst the tension and gravitas, the script occasionally lightens the mood with moments of sharp wit. These instances provide relief from the film's intense atmosphere, showcasing the writer's ability to balance drama with levity. Such moments enrich the dialogue, making it not only engaging but also memorable. In Conclave, the dialogue serves as more than mere conversation. It is a reflection of the film's deeper themes, a vehicle for character development, and a catalyst for the unfolding drama. Through its eloquent and purposeful scripting, the film invites viewers into a world where every word carries weight, and every silence speaks volumes. Genre execution in Conclave, 2024. A thrilling papal power play. Conclave is a masterclass in blending the political thriller with the religious drama genre, creating a high-stakes world where the tension is as palpable as the weight of centuries-old tradition. From the very beginning, the film lures viewers into the sacred halls of the Vatican, making them feel the pressure that every cardinal, every priest, and every decision-maker must face during the papal election. It's a blend of suspense, drama, and subtle action that keeps you on the edge of your seat without ever feeling the need for extravagant car chases or explosions. This is not that kind of thriller. Hocho knife the thrill of the vote. If you think papal elections sound like a snooze fest, Conclave will quickly prove you wrong. Sure, it's not a typical action movie, but it plays on a different type of thrill: psychological tension and moral ambiguity. Instead of guns blazing, Conclave offers us a riveting battle of wills, where the most dangerous weapon is a well-placed word. The film doesn't need to rely on genre clichés like over-the-top villains or implausible plot twists to create its suspense. Instead, it focuses on the slow, simmering dread of what might happen when a group of deeply powerful men are forced to make the most important decision in the Catholic world. It's thrilling because of what might happen rather than what does happen. Political drama meets spiritual dilemma. There's a delicate balance in how the film executes its genre tropes. It could have easily gone full political thriller, with sharp-elbowed maneuvering and ruthless backstabbing dominating the narrative. Instead, Conclave skillfully weaves in the religious weight of the setting, keeping the spiritual stakes high while layering the power plays with deep philosophical debates about faith, morality, and duty. This blend of political drama and religious introspection is what makes the film unique. It could easily have slipped into melodrama, but it avoids that pitfall by grounding the story in real human dilemmas, not just contrived plot mechanics. Pacing the drama. The pacing of Conclave might not be what you'd expect from a typical thriller. There's no breakneck chase scene, no shootouts, or car crashes to jolt you out of your seat. Instead, the suspense is found in the slow, meticulous deliberations behind closed doors, the tense discussions over a flickering candlelight. Every look, every pause, every carefully chosen phrase adds layers to the unfolding drama. The film has the guts to let silence speak louder than action, allowing the audience to feel the weight of every decision. Subverting genre expectations. Where Conclave really shines is in how it subverts genre conventions. It's a thriller with no need for action sequences. It's a political drama that doesn't rely on caricatures of power-hungry officials. It's a religious film that doesn't lean on melodrama to convey its messages of faith. In a genre where clichés are often the easiest route, Conclave takes the bold path of subtlety, nuance, and cerebral engagement. It's not about grandiose speeches or stirring speeches meant to rally the troops. Instead, the drama unfolds in whispers and glances, in subtle gestures and quiet confrontations. Sparkles fresh ideas and new angles. By shifting the focus away from explosive action and turning the spotlight on the internal conflicts of the characters, the film introduces a fresh take on the political thriller genre. It doesn't just focus on the election itself, but on the moral and spiritual cost of each vote, each decision. The film explores what it means to wield power in a world where every move is scrutinized, every action has a lasting consequence. This introspective angle gives Conclave a uniqueness that sets it apart from more formulaic thrillers. The stakes are high not because lives are directly threatened but because the future of an entire institution hangs in the balance. In the end, Conclave delivers a genre experience that feels new, fresh, and engaging. It plays with your expectations, and rather than falling into the typical tropes of thrillers or dramas, it offers a deep dive into the human psyche. A rare blend of suspense, drama, and moral questioning, all wrapped in the grandiose yet intimate setting of the Vatican. This film proves that sometimes the greatest thrill is in what's unspoken. Social and cultural commentary in Conclave, 2024, a reflection on power, faith, and the modern world. Conclave is not just a story about an election in the Vatican, it is a subtle yet potent commentary on the complexities of power, faith, and the influence of the Church in contemporary society. Through the story of the cardinals locked in a high-stakes election, the film doesn't just look at the religious institution's inner workings, it explores the very real social and cultural issues that continue to shape our world today. It asks some of the most pressing questions. What does it mean to wield power in a world where the lines between faith and politics are often blurred? How does an ancient institution navigate the modern world? Power and its consequences. Right from the start, Conclave takes a sharp look at the intersection of power, morality, and influence. In a world that is constantly in flux, whether due to political upheavals or shifting social values, the Vatican, as a beacon of tradition, faces the delicate task of remaining relevant. The film explores how deeply rooted institutions, particularly those that derive their power from spiritual authority, are compelled to adapt or risk losing their influence. The cardinals, for all their faith, are still driven by a desire to control the most powerful seat in the Church, and that drive reveals the human complexities behind their vows of piety. The politics of the sacred. The political undercurrents in Conclave are palpable. The film delves into the often uncomfortable reality that in any election, be it for religious or secular leadership, politics is a driving force. The cardinals are not just men of faith, they are savvy political players, making choices not only based on spiritual beliefs but also on the cultural and political pressures surrounding them. This layered portrayal subtly critiques the way modern politics often prioritizes power and control over ideals, presenting the Vatican as an institution in tension between spiritual purity and earthly ambition. Religion in the modern world. The film also offers a striking examination of how an ancient institution like the Vatican grapples with modern issues. The question of what role the Church plays in today's world is more relevant than ever. Throughout Conclave, the characters must reconcile their faith with the realities of a globalized, often cynical, and secularized world. The cardinals' debates aren't just theological, they touch on the very essence of what it means to lead a spiritual institution in an era where traditional values are increasingly at odds with contemporary ideals. Faith, doubt, and identity. The theme of faith versus doubt is front and center throughout the narrative. The cardinals, while deeply religious, are also men of the world. They have their own personal doubts, aspirations, and struggles, which makes them relatable even to the audience who might not share their faith. This humanization of religious figures in such a high-stakes context allows Conclave to serve as a commentary on the universal struggle between idealism and pragmatism, between holding on to beliefs and bending them to fit the pressures of the moment. Global influence and the Church's role. There's an underlying conversation in Conclave about the Church's role in global issues. As the conclave unfolds, the cardinals debate not just the direction of the Church but its place in a world that is rapidly changing. From the rise of global politics to the shifting sands of social issues like gender equality, the environment, and human rights, the film quietly examines how an institution that was once a pillar of unchallenged authority must now navigate a world that questions its relevance. These themes are woven into the fabric of the film without feeling forced or preachy, instead unfolding naturally through the complex relationships and moral quandaries the characters face. Handling sensitive topics with subtlety. Conclave doesn't shy away from sensitive topics but handles them with subtlety and respect. The film gently explores the Church's internal struggles with scandals, with personal responsibility, and with the complex relationships between faith and power. It doesn't make sweeping judgments but instead invites the audience to contemplate these issues through the nuanced perspectives of the cardinals themselves. This respectful treatment of sensitive topics, like the balancing of personal morality with institutional loyalty, adds a level of depth to the film, making it not only an exploration of faith but also a mirror to the ethical dilemmas facing society at large. In Conclave, the social and cultural commentary is embedded in every conversation, every decision, and every twist in the plot. It's not just a film about a papal election, it's a reflection on how institutions and individuals navigate the complicated intersection of tradition, faith, and modernity. With its thoughtful, layered approach, the film provides a lens through which to examine the complexities of religion, politics, and the modern world, all while keeping you on the edge of your seat. Audience engagement in Conclave, 2024, a roller coaster of emotion, reflection, and intrigue. Conclave is the kind of film that doesn't just want you to watch, it wants you to feel, question, and engage. It's a slow burn thriller, but one that packs an emotional punch at the most unexpected moments. This isn't a film designed to simply entertain, it's here to make you think and, perhaps, to stir something deeper within you. Let's dive into the heart of Conclave and explore how it emotionally resonates with its audience. Face screaming in fear, the power of quiet suspense. From the very first scene, Conclave hooks you with a tension that's almost palpable. There are no loud explosions or chase scenes to pull you in. No. This film thrives on silence and the slow unfolding of its mystery. But make no mistake, the suspense is intense. As the cardinals gather to vote for a new pope, the weight of their decisions hangs heavy in the air. You might find yourself on the edge of your seat, waiting for the slightest shift in body language, the smallest glance that gives away a hidden motive. It's the kind of suspense that doesn't scream at you, it quietly creeps into your thoughts, leaving you feeling both uneasy and captivated. Broken Heart, the emotional roller coaster of faith and doubt. There are moments when Conclave reaches deep into the emotional spectrum. The film doesn't just focus on power struggles, it dives into the very essence of what it means to believe, to question, and to sacrifice. You'll feel the heartache of the cardinals as they wrestle with their faith, their responsibilities, and their human flaws. There's a particular scene where a cardinal's quiet admission of doubt, whispered to a fellow priest, might just leave you with a lump in your throat. The emotional weight of this confession lingers long after the scene ends, giving you a moment to reflect on your own beliefs and doubts. The shock of the unexpected. While Conclave may not rely on shock value to captivate its audience, it delivers a few unexpected twists that leave you wide-eyed. Just when you think you know where the story is heading, it pulls the rug out from under you. These twists aren't the typical Hollywood fare, they're thought-provoking, emotional, and, at times, deeply unsettling. The moments of shock in this film aren't about jump scares or gimmicks. Instead, it's the kind of shock that hits you in the gut, making you question everything you thought you understood about the characters, their motives, and the stakes at play. Inviting deep reflection. Conclave is a film that demands reflection. It doesn't just tell you a story, it invites you to ponder its themes long after the credits roll. The theological and political dilemmas the film presents aren't easily resolved with a simple right or wrong answer. Instead, it opens up a dialogue with the audience, forcing you to engage with questions of morality, leadership, and faith. You'll leave the theater thinking about the choices the characters made, wondering how you would have acted in their place. And for many, these reflections will continue to echo in their minds, sparking conversations with friends or even revisiting the film to catch new nuances you missed the first time. Face with tears of joy moments of dark humor. Yes, Conclave has moments of sharp wit that will catch you off guard. While the film is laden with suspense and heavy emotional beats, it knows how to inject a little humor to lighten the mood. These moments aren't slapstick, no, it's dry, biting humor, often delivered by the more cynical or politically savvy characters. It's the kind of humor that makes you smirk more than laugh out loud, but it adds a layer of complexity to the characters. After all, in a world as charged as the one inside the Vatican, a little well-timed humor might just be the best defense against the overwhelming pressure. Repeat viewings and layers of meaning. This isn't the kind of film you watch once and move on from. Conclave rewards repeat viewings. The second time you watch it, you'll start picking up on subtle foreshadowing, the nuances in character interactions, and the way the film builds its tension in seemingly ordinary moments. It's one of those films that reveals more each time you watch, adding layers to the experience and offering fresh perspectives on the story. Discussion-worthy themes. And let's not forget how Conclave sparks discussions. It's the kind of film that will have you talking long after the lights come up. Whether it's debating the morality of the cardinal's choices or discussing the film's depiction of power, faith, and politics, Conclave provides endless material for thoughtful conversation. Everyone will walk away with different takeaways. Some might find themselves pondering the deeper philosophical questions it raises, while others will focus on the intricacies of the power plays that take place behind closed doors. In the end, Conclave is more than just a film, it's an emotional experience that stays with you. It engages you on multiple levels: suspense, shock, reflection, and even humor. It challenges you, makes you think, and, most importantly, makes you feel. So, if you're looking for a film that invites deep emotional engagement, this is it. Just be prepared. Conclave isn't the kind of movie that you just watch. It's the kind that you live with, long after the credits have rolled. Comparisons to similar films in Conclave, 2024, where tradition meets innovation. Conclave enters a crowded space: political thrillers, religious dramas, and high-stakes suspense films. But despite the genre's well-worn paths, this film carves out its own identity, blending traditional elements with fresh, thought-provoking twists. Let's take a journey through how it stands tall against similar films, the director's previous work, and whether it breaks new ground or comfortably settles into the familiar. Political thrillers with a religious twist. If you've seen films like The Vatican Tapes or Angels and Demons, you might think Conclave follows the same trajectory, a mix of religion, power struggles, and suspense. But where those films rely heavily on action, be it in the form of chase scenes or explosive moments, Conclave does something different. It leans into the intellectual and emotional tension rather than relying on external thrills. Angels and Demons, for example, mixes explosive action with historical puzzles, a fast-paced, popcorn movie approach to religion and power. Conclave, in contrast, has its characters locked in a delicate dance of silence, intrigue, and moral ambiguity. It's less about external danger and more about the internal struggles each character faces, making it feel more intimate and cerebral. While Conclave might not have the action-packed spectacle of its genre counterparts, it offers something more poignant: an exploration of faith and doubt, and the ethical weight of leadership within an ancient institution. This makes it feel more like a psychological drama than a thriller, setting it apart from films that lean too heavily on spectacle. European Castle: the Vatican setting, a familiar, yet unique backdrop. The Vatican setting isn't new to cinema, it's the backdrop for films like The Godfather 3 or The Two Popes. However, Conclave uses this setting not just as a place of power but as a crucible for deep character study. Unlike The Two Popes, which offers a warm, somewhat comedic take on the personalities within the Vatican, Conclave is far darker, more focused on the institutional weight and the heavy toll power can take on the individual. The sprawling, solemn architecture of the Vatican isn't just a setting here, it's a character in itself, embodying the weight of centuries of tradition and the pressure of future decisions. The film's tight, claustrophobic setting, a few rooms, hushed discussions, the distant echoes of decision-making feels more akin to a chamber drama than the sweeping historical epics we've seen before. The physical space becomes a metaphor for the emotional spaces the characters navigate, making the setting feel even more intense. Clapperboard director's signature style, a subtle, layered approach. Now, if you're familiar with the director's previous work, you'll notice a return to form with Conclave. The director is known for taking slow-burn stories with intricate character dynamics and weaving them into high-stakes situations. Fans of The Ghost Rider or The International will immediately recognize the director's preference for intellectual tension and moral complexity. Where those films focused on political corruption and the murky waters of international affairs, Conclave explores the moral gray areas within the religious and spiritual realms. What sets Conclave apart in the director's filmography is its deep focus on the internal struggles of the characters. While his other films rely on more outward tension and external conflict, Conclave turns the lens inward, exploring the psyche of men who wield immense power but are also bound by deeply ingrained faith and centuries-old tradition. This shift towards a more introspective narrative brings a unique flavor to the director's usual style, making Conclave feel fresh while still staying true to his signature approach. Electric Light Bulb, something new, a shift from traditional thrillers. In a genre where the political intrigue is often wrapped in conspiracy, action, and fast-paced drama, Conclave dares to slow things down. It doesn't offer big revelations or bombastic twists, instead, it invites the audience to linger in the quiet moments. This is a film where every glance, every word spoken, holds weight. Unlike other films where the drama is driven by shocking reveals or plot twists, Conclave plays its cards close to the chest, using subtlety to build suspense. The unique approach here is that the tension isn't generated by external conflict but by the moral dilemmas of its characters. The Cardinal's actions and motivations drive the story forward, making it feel more like a chess match where every move counts. This cerebral approach sets it apart from films that rely on more obvious genre conventions, offering something new for those looking for depth rather than spectacle. Psychological depth over physical action. If you've come to Conclave expecting an Inferno or Da Vinci Code-style treasure hunt, you'll be in for a surprise. Conclave forgoes the high-octane chase scenes and historical puzzles in favor of a psychological deep dive into the minds of its characters. It's more about the inner workings of the Vatican than its vaults of hidden secrets. While many religious thrillers lean on mysteries or coded messages, Conclave is focused on the quiet power plays and complex relationships between the cardinals, making it a fascinating study of power and faith. Comedy and tragedy masks the performances, unveiling layers of complexity. If you compare the performances in Conclave to those of other films in the genre, it's clear that this movie stands out. There's no need for grandiose speeches or larger-than-life characters. What matters here is subtlety. The actors carry the weight of the narrative with understated brilliance, bringing to life characters who are trapped in a web of moral decisions and personal doubts. Each actor, from the lead to the supporting roles, understands that the true power lies not in grand gestures but in the quieter, more nuanced moments. This kind of restrained performance isn't often seen in political thrillers, where characters tend to be either outright heroes or villains. In a genre saturated with fast-paced, high-action spectacles, Conclave offers a refreshing shift towards psychological depth, moral exploration, and quiet suspense. It takes familiar elements from religious and political dramas, but instead of following the formula, it subverts expectations by focusing on the internal conflicts and intellectual battles of its characters. With its slower pacing, nuanced performances, and subtle political intrigue, Conclave feels like a new direction for both the genre and the director, a cerebral thriller that rewards patience and reflection. Symbolism and metaphors in Conclave, 2024, unlocking the hidden layers. Alright, buckle up, because Conclave isn't just a surface-level thriller, it's a film packed with symbolism, metaphors, and visual cues that elevate it far beyond your typical political drama. This film speaks in whispers, not shouts, and it's all about the deeper meanings that lie beneath each frame. So, let's take a dive into the hidden visual treasures Conclave has to offer. The cross, a symbol of faith and power. Let's start with the most obvious but powerful symbol in Conclave, the cross. The cross isn't just a religious symbol here, it's a constant reminder of the weight of power, sacrifice, and guilt that the cardinals carry. The film often frames the characters against a backdrop of crosses, whether in the form of the grand crucifixes hanging in the Vatican halls or the subtle cross shapes in the shadows of their surroundings. The cross becomes more than just a religious emblem, it represents the burden of leadership and the constant tug-of-war between faith and moral ambiguity. In one haunting scene, we see a cardinal standing in front of a particularly large cross, bathed in soft, dim lighting. His face is obscured in shadow, as though he's not just facing a physical symbol, but the crushing weight of his decisions. It's as if the cross itself is pressing down on him, symbolizing the heavy responsibility he carries not just as a spiritual leader, but as a man caught between divine duty and worldly politics. Doves, the promise of peace versus the reality of conflict. Doves, often regarded as symbols of peace, are a recurring visual motif throughout the film. But in Conclave, these doves are far from simple emblems of serenity. They appear during moments of intense conflict just before a decision is made or a crucial vote takes place. Their presence serves as a stark contrast to the tension that builds up around them, offering a visual metaphor for the false ideal of peace within an institution that thrives on secrecy and power plays. In one pivotal moment, as the cardinals head into the conclave chamber, a single dove is seen perched outside a window, watching them silently. The dove, a symbol of purity and divine peace, is a sharp reminder of the ideal world the Church strives for, juxtaposed with the complex and corrupt reality within the walls. It's a subtle but powerful way of showing how the spiritual mission of the Vatican is at odds with the personal ambitions and political maneuvering at play. The Vatican's architecture, the power of space and tradition. The architecture of the Vatican plays a crucial role in the film's symbolism. The high ceilings, dark stone corridors, and looming archways serve as physical representations of the weight of history and tradition. These towering structures symbolize the unyielding grip of power within the institution. They create a sense of claustrophobia, as if the characters are trapped within the very walls they are supposed to govern. The framing often emphasizes the vast emptiness of these spaces, highlighting the isolation and loneliness that come with wielding such immense power. There's a particularly striking moment when a cardinal walks through a long, empty hallway, the camera lingering on the stark contrast between the grand, oppressive architecture and his solitary figure. It's a visual metaphor for the isolation of those in power. Despite being surrounded by the vast machinery of the Church, these leaders are still alone in their decisions. The stone walls may shield them, but they also trap them, forcing them to confront their own moral dilemmas in silence. The papal tiara, tradition versus reform. The papal tiara, often associated with the traditional image of the Pope, is used in Conclave as a symbol of the ongoing battle between tradition and reform. The tiara is shown multiple times either in religious artifacts, portraits of past popes, or even during moments of intense discussion. But it's more than just an accessory, it's a relic from a bygone era, representing the weight of history and the status quo. Throughout the film, the tiara is juxtaposed with modern symbols of power, such as the modern robes worn by the cardinals or their slick, polished shoes. It's as though the characters are constantly walking in the shadow of tradition, struggling to reconcile the weight of the past with the demands of a changing world. The recurring appearance of the tiara represents this struggle, an inescapable link to the past that prevents true reform from taking place. Hojo knife, the knife, a symbol of betrayal and sacrifice. Now, here's where things get a little darker. A recurring image throughout Conclave is that of a knife, used both literally and metaphorically. At first, the knife seems to be an object of simple utility, something that the cardinals use for mundane tasks. But as the tension builds, it takes on darker connotations. The knife becomes a symbol of betrayal and sacrifice, two themes that run deep throughout the film. There's a pivotal moment where a character is handed a knife, and the camera lingers on the gleam of its blade. At first, it's unclear whether the knife represents a literal threat or the metaphorical sharpness of the decisions that the character must make. Does the knife represent the power to cut through the lies and deceit surrounding them? Or does it symbolize the painful, often violent choices they must make in order to secure their positions? The moon, reflection and hidden truths. The moon appears in several scenes as a quiet observer to the events unfolding. In one particularly evocative moment, we see the full moon shining brightly through a window, casting its light over a group of cardinals deep in conversation. The moon serves as a reminder of the hidden truths lurking just beneath the surface of the film's narrative. It's a symbol of reflection not just on the events taking place, but on the characters' inner turmoil and the dark truths they may be hiding from each other. The moon also acts as a visual cue for the theme of duality. As it casts its light on the characters, it also casts deep shadows, suggesting that even in moments of apparent clarity, there are dark secrets waiting to be uncovered. It's a poetic way of showing how truth and lies are forever intertwined, with the moon acting as both a source of illumination and a mirror to the darker aspects of the characters' souls. Franchise or historical context in Conclave, 2024. A deep dive into its roots and relevance. Okay, folks, before we get lost in the drama and intrigue of Conclave, let's take a step back and look at where this film stands within its broader context. Is it part of a bigger franchise, or does it come from historical roots that demand a more immersive, accurate portrayal of the real world? Whether you're a franchise fan or a history buff, Conclave has a lot to offer in terms of background, and we're about to break it down for you in a way that's more fun than reading the Vatican archives. A standalone thriller with historical underpinnings. Unlike a lot of films that are part of a sprawling franchise, think The Godfather or James Bond, Conclave doesn't operate within an established narrative universe. Nope, this is an original work, carving its own path in the realm of political thrillers. But that doesn't mean the film doesn't play with the idea of tradition and legacy. The setting itself, the Vatican, has centuries of history tied to it, and in that sense, Conclave taps into a broader, more historical framework, but with its own fresh take. Now, let's talk about Conclave's relationship to this larger historical context. The film doesn't just take the Vatican's rich, shadowy history for granted. It immerses you in the world of high-stakes decision-making, not just through the power-hungry cardinals in the film but through the intricate politics of the Church itself. In this sense, even though Conclave doesn't tie into a specific franchise, it's like opening a door to a secretive, age-old world. It allows you to peek into the complexities of an institution that, for centuries, has operated in ways that are both grounded in tradition and rife with power struggles, real or imagined. European castle historical layers, the Vatican as a microcosm of power. What makes Conclave particularly intriguing is that it's set against the backdrop of one of the oldest, most powerful institutions in the world, the Catholic Church. And when you talk about the Vatican, you're not just talking about a building or an organization. You're talking about centuries of history, global influence, and internal politics that have shaped the world in profound ways. The film doesn't go out of its way to offer a textbook recounting of Vatican history, but it does subtly weave in the Church's complex past. You get little nods to real historical events like papal elections, scandals, and the delicate balance of power that defines the papacy. And the beauty of this historical context is that it adds layers to the story. It's not just about what happens in the film but about what could happen if these characters were real players in this environment. Right-pointing magnifying glass, historical accuracy versus dramatic license. Now, how much of Conclave is historical fact, and how much is dramatic license? The film doesn't claim to be a historical documentary, so while it's steeped in real-world elements of Vatican life, it takes a fair amount of creative liberty to spin the tale of political intrigue and moral dilemmas. Does it get the big things right? Absolutely. The architecture, the rituals of the conclave, the power dynamics at play within the Church, these things are grounded in reality. But, much like any good political thriller, Conclave isn't afraid to stretch the truth for the sake of suspense. There are moments where the drama takes precedence over strict historical accuracy, but that's part of what makes the film so engaging. You're not watching a history lesson, you're watching a psychological drama unfold within a familiar yet enigmatic historical setting. And it works because, While the events might be fictionalized, the feelings of uncertainty, tension, and power grabs are very real. Real-life parallels, the politics of the papacy. If you're familiar with the Vatican's actual history, say, the way popes have been chosen throughout the centuries or the political maneuvering that happens behind closed doors, you'll notice the way Conclave plays with these elements. There's this subtle, almost eerie parallel between the events in the film and real-world papal elections, especially when you consider moments like the Sistine Chapel conclave in 2005 that elected Pope Benedict XVI, or the more recent 2013 election of Pope Francis. These real-life moments provide a layer of depth for those in the know, turning the film into a bit of a historical what-if. The filmmakers clearly have a solid grasp of Vatican politics. This isn't just a generic evil church story. It's a nuanced look at an institution that, like any other, is not immune to the pressures of power, greed, and human flaws. And that's what makes the film feel rooted in something real, even as it takes its audience into the more fictionalized, high-stakes world of the conclave. Symbolism of historical events, past influences on present. One of the coolest things Conclave does is use real historical events such as past papal scandals and power struggles as a backdrop to the present-day story. Sure, the characters are fictional, but their actions and motivations are clearly shaped by the ghosts of the past. The weight of centuries of papal history isn't just something the characters grapple with, it's a living, breathing presence that shapes every decision, every action, and every vote cast. The film also nods to the idea that history is cyclical. The past doesn't just inform the present, it actively haunts it. The film builds on this idea by showing how the Church, though ancient and steeped in tradition, is still very much part of the modern world, dealing with politics, scandal, and questions of moral authority. It's like watching a chess match where the pieces are not just moving forward but also looking over their shoulders at the games of the past. Budget and box office, the financial drama behind Conclave, 2024. Alright, let's get into the money talk. It's the behind-the-scenes stuff that can make or break a film's legacy: how much it costs to make it, and how much it rakes in at the box office. Is it a smashing success, or did the film end up in the red? Let's break it down and see how Conclave, 2024, stacks up in the wallet department. Money bag the budget, where did the money go? So, Conclave, with all its twists, turns, and high-stakes drama, had to have a decent budget to pull off its slick production, right? Well, you're absolutely right. For a film set inside the Vatican and built on an intricate narrative, it's clear that a lot of the money went toward the set design, cinematography, and some seriously impressive visual effects. If you've ever seen the grandeur of the Sistine Chapel, the frescoes, or the ancient architecture, you'll know it doesn't come cheap to recreate that kind of ambience on screen. The film invested in getting those fine details right, everything from the church's iconic stained glass windows to the elaborate rituals of the conclave, because let's face it, you can't fake this kind of setting. The film also likely had to spend quite a bit on its ensemble cast, who brought those characters to life in a way that felt authentic and dramatic. When you're dealing with high-profile actors, the costs go up, but the payoff in performance quality is worth it. But Conclave doesn't just rely on grand locations and impressive set pieces. It also has some slick action sequences and intense moments of suspense that would require top-tier cinematography, sound design, and a skilled crew. So, in short, this wasn't a low-budget indie flick shot in a basement somewhere. No, this was a film with a solid budget aimed at creating a big, immersive world. Clapperboard box office: did the Conclave win or lose? Now, on to the burning question: was Conclave a box office hit, or did it leave the producers scrambling for a return on investment? Well, this is where it gets interesting. The movie definitely had some strong marketing and buzz leading up to its release. People were intrigued by the premise: high-stakes Vatican drama, filled with political intrigue and moral quandaries. Yes, please. And the added bonus of the Vatican setting made it a unique draw in the thriller genre. Upon its release, Conclave drew in a solid number of theater-goers. However, despite the intrigue and slick visuals, the box office performance was a bit of a mixed bag. The film opened strong, thanks to a dedicated fanbase of thriller enthusiasts and history buffs, and the star-studded cast did its part to pull in viewers who might not have otherwise been interested in a religious-themed drama. It was a hit in certain international markets, places with a strong interest in religious and political drama, but didn't see the type of breakout success that some high-profile thrillers or franchise films tend to boast. So, was it a financial success? Conclave likely covered its production costs and then some, but it didn't quite make the kind of massive splash that would have placed it among the elite. This is one of those films that found its niche audience, those interested in cerebral thrillers, those fascinated by the inner workings of the church, and those who love a good power struggle. Cheering megaphone marketing and audience reception, the real story. So what's the deal with the marketing? Did it live up to the hype? Well, as with any film, a lot of the financial success hinges on how well it's marketed before and after release. Conclave's marketing leaned into its most intriguing aspects, the power dynamics, the high-stakes drama, and the setting in the Vatican. The trailers emphasized mystery, secrecy, and betrayal, always a winning combination for thriller lovers. However, despite a strong marketing push, Conclave faced some challenges. While the marketing did get people excited, it was also up against stiff competition. In the same release window, there were other blockbuster films vying for attention, and when you're dealing with a film that's more cerebral and less action-packed, it can be tough to pull in a wider audience. The film's slower pacing and methodical build-up may have alienated those looking for something faster or more overtly thrilling. Still, the loyal fans who appreciated the slow-burn tension and moral conundrums found plenty to love. The reception from audiences was generally positive, though. People praised the film's performances and the atmospheric setting, but some felt it could have ramped up the action or suspense a little more. Still, when the film found an audience, they loved it, and word of mouth likely boosted its legs in theaters. Conclave also did well in streaming post-theatrical release, where it found a second life, attracting viewers who might have missed it on the big screen but were intrigued by its premise. Chart with downward trend: financial success or missed opportunity. To put it simply, Conclave was a solid performer, but not a runaway success. It definitely made a return on its investment, but its box office numbers weren't exactly sky-high. What this movie proved, however, is that there's still an appetite for intelligent, character-driven thrillers, especially those with an intriguing historical backdrop. In the end, it might not have been the next Da Vinci Code in terms of box office, but it was a respectable offering in a genre that's often overshadowed by bigger, more bombastic blockbusters. In the long run, Conclave's legacy might lie less in its box office receipts and more in its cultural impact. It's a film that piqued curiosity, sparked conversations, and resonated with audiences who appreciate depth over spectacle. Sure, it didn't dominate the charts, but it carved out its own space as a compelling, thought-provoking thriller that, with time, might find its place as a cult classic among fans of political drama. So, while Conclave didn't exactly set the financial world on fire, it certainly earned its keep with a solid performance, smart marketing, and a niche audience that appreciated its slow-burn tension. Sometimes, it's not about hitting massive box office numbers, it's about crafting a story that sticks with viewers, making them think long after the credits roll. And Conclave does just that. Where to watch Conclave, 2024, your ultimate viewing guide. So, you're ready to dive into the labyrinthine world of Conclave, the Oscar-winning political thriller that delves into the secretive Vatican process of electing a new pope. Whether you're in Lahore, Karachi, or anywhere else, here's your comprehensive guide to experiencing this cinematic masterpiece. Clapperboard in theaters. Conclave premiered in US theaters on October 25, 2024, and in the UK on November 29, 2024. However, as of now, the film is no longer playing in theaters. If you missed the theatrical release, don't worry, there are plenty of other ways to watch. Television streaming platforms. Amazon Prime Video. Great news for Prime members, Conclave is available to stream at no additional cost. If you're not a member, you can rent or purchase the film for $6.99 and $19.99, respectively. Peacock. Conclave is also available on Peacock. If you're in the US, you can stream it in 4K UHD with a subscription. Other platforms. The film is available for digital rental or purchase on Apple TV, Google Play Movies, YouTube Movies, Fandango NOW. Rental prices typically start around $6.99, with purchase options available for $19.99. DVD physical media. For collectors and those who prefer physical copies. Blu-ray/DVD, released on December 17, 2024. 4K UHD Combo Pack, released on February 11, 2025. These editions include bonus features and are available at major retailers. International availability. While the above platforms are available in the US, availability may vary by country. In Pakistan, streaming services like Amazon Prime Video and YouTube Movies are accessible, so you can rent or purchase the film through those platforms. Best viewing experience. To fully immerse yourself in the suspense and grandeur of Conclave, consider the following. Streaming. For the most convenient experience, streaming on Amazon Prime Video or Peacock offers high-quality visuals and sound. Physical media. If you have a 4K UHD setup, the combo pack provides the best picture and sound quality, along with exclusive bonus content. Atmosphere. Watching on a large screen with surround sound will enhance the film's tense atmosphere and intricate details. Left-pointing magnifying glass. Final thoughts. Whether you're a fan of political thrillers, historical dramas, or character-driven narratives, Conclave offers a gripping exploration of power, secrecy, and moral dilemmas. With multiple viewing options available, you can choose the one that best fits your preferences and setup. Enjoy the film.